The Galactic soldiers arrived on Earth with high expectations. They had traveled across the cosmos, conquering worlds, toppling civilizations, and spreading their dominance. Their technology was unparalleled. Weaponry powered by the energy of stars, ships that could fold space itself, and artificial intelligences that guided their every move. To them, Earth was nothing more than a speck in the vast universe, an easy conquest. The humans were primitive, their weapons outdated, their societies fractured. It was a matter of time before they would fall under the heel of the invaders. The soldiers scoffed at humanity's armament. They regarded human weapons as crude relics of a bygone era, laughable in comparison to their own technological marvels. Guns that fired simple projectiles, bombs that could only cause minor destruction, and outdated drones that were no match for their sophisticated AI-controlled machines. They called these weapons toys and dismissed them with arrogance, certain that no human could pose a threat. The soldiers discussed the upcoming invasion with a sense of superiority. These humans, they're nothing more than an experiment gone wrong, one of the leaders remarked, his voice dripping with disdain. Their weapons are so primitive that they might as well throw rocks at us. They were right to mock, at least by their standards. The human weapons, though dangerous in the hands of skilled fighters, were far behind the technology the invaders commanded. The soldiers, equipped with plasma rifles and force fields, couldn't imagine how a species like humanity could ever challenge them. The idea was laughable. The soldiers took comfort in their superior firepower and tactical advantage. There was no question that Earth's defenses would crumble before them. They anticipated minimal resistance, perhaps some stray gunfire or a few explosions, but nothing that could seriously impede their mission. Earth had no advanced weapons, no shields, no sophisticated machinery to stand against them. What the soldiers failed to understand was that while they had superior technology, humanity had something far more valuable: ingenuity. It was this trait, often overlooked and underestimated, that had driven humanity to innovate in ways the aliens couldn't comprehend. Human weapons, crude as they might seem, had evolved over centuries of conflict, each generation building on the lessons of the past. This was a species that had learned to adapt, to think on its feet, to innovate under pressure. It wasn't the weapons themselves that were dangerous, but the minds behind them. As the soldiers prepared for their assault, they dismissed Earth's military forces as insignificant. Their confidence was unshakable. They made plans for an easy strike. Cities would fall, governments would collapse, and humanity would surrender without a fight. The thought of a human force strong enough to defeat them was a fantasy. They were certain of it. But beneath their overconfidence lay a blind spot. They didn't understand the human spirit, nor did they recognize the value of the individual. Humans might have lacked the vast power of the aliens' weapons, but they possessed something even more formidable: resilience. They fought not just with weapons, but with everything they had: creativity, resourcefulness, and the unyielding drive to protect their home. As the soldiers began their final preparations for the invasion, they remained blissfully unaware of the storm that was about to hit them. The human resistance, while outgunned, was not so easily dismissed. They believed in the strength of their people, the power of their weapons, and the fierce determination to defend their world from any threat, no matter how great. The soldiers may have mocked human technology, but they were about to learn a hard truth. They had underestimated the one thing they couldn't foresee: humanity itself. The sniper lay prone, his body perfectly still, blending seamlessly with the terrain around him. His eyes were fixed through the scope, unwavering and calm, as he surveyed the battlefield. He had been here for hours, patiently watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Every muscle in his body was trained to remain in a state of complete control, every breath deliberate and measured. This was not a mission like any other. This was his moment, and he would not waste it. His rifle, an older model by modern standards, felt like an extension of himself. The metal was worn, the wood stock slightly chipped, but the mechanism was flawless. It had served him through countless operations, each shot made with precision honed over years of intense training. It wasn't the latest high-tech military weapon, but to the sniper it didn't matter. It was a tool, one that, in the right hands, was far more lethal than any alien technology. He had spent years in this profession, and what he knew better than anyone was that precision and patience were key. Weapons could be replaced, and technology could evolve, but skill and experience were irreplaceable. His training had made him one of the best, his ability to think in split seconds honed by every mission, every challenge, every life-or-death situation. Today, the sniper wasn't just facing any ordinary threat. The invaders, with their advanced weaponry and seemingly endless resources, were something new, something unimaginable only a year ago. But even with their overwhelming firepower, the sniper felt no fear. There was no hesitation in his mind, only the certainty that he could do his job. The technology of the enemy was no more important than the wind or the distance. The task remained the same. Find the target, steady the aim, and fire. He had seen the aliens arrive. Their ships were massive, their troops well-equipped, and their arrogance radiated from every step they took. But none of that mattered to the sniper. He wasn't tasked with stopping their entire force. He was only here to stop one, to take out the leader of this invasion and throw their plans into disarray. The weight of the responsibility didn't press on him. He had done this before. As he scanned the area again, he thought about how often humanity had been underestimated by those who believed themselves superior. Time and time again, invaders had thought Earth was an easy conquest, only to find themselves outwitted and overpowered by the will of the human race. It wasn't the aliens' advanced tech that made them dangerous. It was their failure to understand that humanity's true strength came from an indomitable will. No amount of superiority could take that away. The sniper knew that these invaders believed they were unstoppable. They laughed at humanity's primitive weapons, mocked the human attempts at defense. But they did not know humanity. They did not know what it meant to fight for survival, to protect the people and land that meant everything. That was the edge the sniper had. He wasn't just fighting a battle. He was defending his home, his family, his world. The sniper adjusted his position slightly, his scope aligning with the top of the leader's head. He adjusted for wind speed, distance, and trajectory, his mind calculating at a rate that seemed almost mechanical. The rifle's trigger was a mere formality at this point. He could feel the tension in the air, but his hands were steady. No hesitation, no second-guessing. His breath was shallow, measured. Every part of him was locked into that moment, the moment where he would prove that no invader, no matter how powerful, could defeat humanity's resolve. The enemy may have underestimated human weapons, but they were about to find out that a bullet fired by human hands could be as devastating as anything their advanced technology could throw at them. The sniper didn't need fancy tech or alien firepower. He only needed his training, his focus, and the belief that no matter how impossible the odds, humanity would always fight back. The Galactic soldiers advanced with relentless determination, confident in their superiority. They moved as one, a coordinated force of highly trained beings equipped with the latest technology. Plasma rifles that could disintegrate entire platoons, energy shields that made them nearly invulnerable, and drones that scouted the terrain with perfect precision. They had been on countless campaigns, their success rate nearly flawless, and Earth was nothing more than another insignificant world ripe for the taking. At first, the humans' resistance seemed laughable. Small groups of soldiers armed with traditional firearms had launched a few futile attacks, but the aliens barely noticed. The human weapons were ineffective against their shields, and the enemy forces were easily overrun. It was exactly what they had expected. Earth's military was weak, disorganized, and unprepared. The invaders' plan was simple: clear the battlefield, crush any opposition, and take control of the planet. Then something unexpected happened. The first shot rang out from a distant ridge, and the leader of one of the alien squads crumpled to the ground. It was a clean hit, perfectly placed between the cracks in his armor. The soldiers stopped in their tracks, momentarily stunned. The leader's lifeless body was proof that human weapons, though crude, had the potential to be lethal. They quickly dismissed the incident. Surely it was a fluke. The human sniper, hidden from view, had fired with precision, but one lucky shot didn't change the outcome of the battle. The aliens resumed their march, reassured by their superior technology. But as the hours passed, more soldiers fell. The sniper continued to strike with unerring accuracy, each shot taking out a leader or a key target. The aliens began to feel the first stirrings of doubt. The invaders' confidence started to waver. How was this possible? Their energy shields should have deflected anything the humans could throw at them. Their advanced tech should have given them total control over the situation. Yet the humans were adapting. Despite the overwhelming difference in firepower, humanity was able to strike back in ways the aliens had never anticipated. It wasn't just the sniper's skill, it was the unpredictability of human tactics. The humans fought not in straight lines but in guerrilla-style ambushes, blending into the terrain, using the environment to their advantage. Their resistance was disjointed and chaotic, yet it was proving effective. The alien soldiers tried to counter the attacks. They deployed drones to locate and eliminate the sniper, but they were too slow. Each time they moved, they were met with another shot, another loss. The sniper seemed to anticipate their every move, and soon the aliens found themselves forced to rethink their strategy. No longer were they simply marching forward in arrogance. They were now hesitant, uncertain of what to expect next. The situation began to spiral out of control. The invaders, who had assumed total dominance, now found themselves on the defensive. They scrambled to form new plans, but nothing seemed to work. For every one of their soldiers that fell, another human seemed to emerge from the shadows, ready to fight. The Galactic soldiers were used to controlling the battlefield with overwhelming force, but this time, they were the ones reacting, their advanced weaponry no longer enough to guarantee their victory. Their technology was undoubtedly powerful, but the aliens had failed to account for one critical factor: the human will to fight. It wasn't their weapons that made them dangerous. It was their unpredictability, their adaptability, and their sheer determination to hold on. The Galactic soldiers realized too late that they were not fighting an inferior species. They were fighting a force that would never surrender, no matter the odds. As the battle wore on, the aliens began to retreat. Their initial confidence had turned to fear, and now they were second-guessing every decision. Their invincible technology had been matched by something they couldn't predict: the spirit of humanity. The human resistance was proving far more effective than they had ever imagined. They had underestimated Earth's defenders, assuming that advanced technology would always triumph over sheer willpower. They had been wrong. The Galactic soldiers had been relentless, pushing forward with the same arrogance they had carried from the moment they first set foot on Earth. But now, with each step, they felt the weight of doubt creeping into their ranks. Their confidence was slipping, and it became increasingly clear that something had changed in the battle. The humans were not giving up. Instead, they were adapting, surviving, and fighting with a determination that no alien technology could overcome. The sniper, positioned miles away, watched the battlefield unfold through his scope, his focus unbroken. He had waited for this moment, the moment when the invaders would realize that their technology could not protect them from humanity's will to survive. With every shot, he had not only taken out key leaders but also sown chaos among the invaders. Now he prepared for the final act. The alien forces began to retreat, but it wasn't a retreat of strategy, it was a retreat born of fear. Their leader, a towering figure clad in advanced armor, had been killed by the sniper's first shot. Now, without their commanding officer, the soldiers were lost. Their shields and weapons, so powerful just hours ago, no longer seemed like the unbeatable force they once were. The sniper had proven that a single shot, from a human hand, could break their confidence and turn the tide of battle. As the leader's body fell to the ground, the remaining soldiers hesitated. The once strong line of invaders faltered, unsure of their next move. They had no clear strategy, no direction. Panic began to ripple through their ranks as their advanced weaponry, no longer a guarantee of victory, seemed to hold no more power than their own uncertainty. The humans had struck with precision, and now, with their leader dead, the soldiers were falling apart. The sniper adjusted his position, ensuring his shot would be lethal. He aimed not just at the soldiers but at the very heart of their invasion. One more shot and it would be over. The humans had fought back with everything they had, and now, with the leader's death, the invaders were on the brink of collapse. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. It wasn't just the rifle or the technology, it was his resolve, his experience that would make this shot count. He had trained for years for moments like this, and now it was time to act. The bullet traveled with deadly accuracy, striking down another key figure in the alien hierarchy. With that shot, the last of their coordination shattered. The aliens began to scatter, retreating in disarray, their invincible technology suddenly useless in the face of humanity's unexpected resistance. It was no longer about superior firepower. It was about human will, adaptability, and the relentless drive to protect what mattered most. The invaders had underestimated the human spirit, and now they paid the price. The retreat turned into a rout, and as the last of the alien forces fled, the human resistance knew they had won. The soldiers, who had once mocked humanity's weapons, now found themselves fleeing from a species they had deemed inferior. The invaders had been forced to learn a hard lesson. No amount of advanced technology could replace the raw determination and ingenuity of humanity. The sniper stood in his position, unmoving. The battle was over, but the message was clear. Humans were not to be underestimated. They may not have had the most advanced weapons, but they had something far more dangerous. An unyielding will to fight, a drive to protect, and the ability to turn the impossible into reality. The aliens had entered Earth expecting an easy conquest, but they had found something far stronger. And as they fled, they knew they would never forget the lesson they had learned. Humanity, though armed with nothing more than old weapons, was a force that could not be defeated.